If I could do it all over again, you know I'd do it all over again. The love outshines everything else. I'd do it all over again. I'd do it all over again.
All right.
Thank you.
Very good.
Let the party begin.
Let the party begin.
Okay. Did Laird come back? Laird?
Laird goes to the end of the list.
Goes Laird, then Matt, and then Tracy.
Could you do the introduction thing, because I didn't get that on video? Introduce welcoming everybody.
Okay, all right.
Is David here? You're the storyteller. Yeah. So glad. Okay, hold on.
Mike's not on.
Okay, Jack wants me to repeat my introduction.
Didn't have
But
to
it was
say
so spontaneous and funny the first time. And I said that Lisa gave me my first big break in this town. Y'all were here. It just doesn't sound right the second time around, Jack. I'm sorry. It sounds trite.
Welcome.
Okay, so I'm happy to be hosting for Lisa. And our first person on the list is David, who's a storyteller. So, David, where are you from?
Austin.
Austin, Texas, a storyteller from Austin, Texas, who helped set up the sound. He listened, and he listened well. Thank you, David. Welcome to the IRIE BEAN open mic. Have you played here before?
Yeah, last week.
Good deal. Yeah, let's welcome David.
All right, how's this? Is this okay? Yeah. Yeah, I was here last week. Those of you here last week might have remembered the story I told about the Jewish cowboy. Okay, well, I'm not telling the Jewish cowboy story, but first I want to do a plug for the Oak, Ash, and Thorn School of Bardic Wisdom. We are a Celtic culture school. We're opening here in South Austin. Our headmaster's right there. We got more information. All right. The story I'm going to tell you tonight is from Ireland.
Hey.
Hey. And the story I'm telling you tonight is the Rooted Lather. You see, once there was a cowherd. And the cowherd worked for a very, very rich farmer, he did. And as most people are, when they work for somebody rich, they may fall in love with their son or their daughter. So the cowherd, he fell in love with the farmer's daughter. Isn't that always how it works? Now, we don't really know the cowherd's name. We don't really know the farmer's daughter's name. We just know the story, so don't you forget it, as I tell you. So every day in the morning, he would take the cows out, and he would go past the house. Now, he would also go past the garden, and the garden was planted by the farmer for his daughter, and the garden had very, very high and thick hedges. And in the evenings, he would bring the cows back in front of the house by the hedged garden. All right, you with me? Okay, don't forget it. It's very important. The only thing about it is, the farmer's daughter did not know anything about the cowherd. But the cowherd knew about the farmer's daughter. Because every time he would pass in the evening, he would hear the daughter and her friends out in the garden talking, and he would pull aside those hedges, and he would peek in, and oh, he would see the desire of his heart. And there she was. He had to somehow know how to get her for his own. But she was the daughter of a rich farmer, and he was just a poor cowherd. What was he to do? So what he did was, he went down the street, or really down the road, to Granny O'Malley. You know, there's always a Granny O'Malley in these stories. So he went to the Granny O'Malley, and he knocked on the door. And she said, come in, what can I do for you? And so he told her everything, and she said, I know how to make her fall in love with you, but are you willing to do what I say? And he said, of course I will. I love her. She's mine. I will do anything. And she looked at him again and said, anything? He said, yes. She said, okay, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn you into a rose bush. And you'll be the one flower on the bush. And I'll have to plant you immediately. But there's one thing you have to know. She has to come by and pick you and smell you and brush you across her.
I want away. I've only got one. Well, it's been a rough patch for a long time now. I've been beaten and knocked down. Walked out in the cold in a threadbare coat with my tears soaking the ground. But once upon a time I slept in the sun with a lover who was tender and true. And the magic I found in his arms is the magic that pulls me through. If I could do it all over again, you know I'd do it all over again. Many colors, woven from many strands. Now I'm looking back over. If I could do it all over again, you know I'd do it all over.